How you doing?
I'm doing good, really good, Louis.
Good.
How exactly do I say your name?
Luis Cardenas.
There you go, man. How you
Yeah,
doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
Good, good. Let's go back to, I guess the first band you were in was Renegade or before that?
Yes, I mean Renegade was the band that was the more serious band.
Right,
I was in little bands here and there, but nothing major really happened. I mean, I recorded a single
right,
with one band, but Renegade, we actually, we toured the States. Um, we recorded an album, you
right.
know, did a lot of gigs, did a lot of openings for bands like Blue Oyster Cult,
One of my
Night
favorites.
Ranger,
Great band.
Journey, Foreigner,
Wow,
all those bands.
right.
Did a lot of fair gigs, the big county fairs, which were a lot of fun. It was a fun band. We had a lot of fun with Renegade. And Renegade is still going on. I mean, we
Right,
just live in different states now, and it's
right.
but I have a Renegade album that I want to get out there
Right,
probably next year.
right. Yeah, wow.
Yeah. And
Uh,
you'll have to excuse me, Brian, because
yeah,
I have a bit of a cough. So if I cough, excuse me.
it's no problem, no problem.
Yeah.
Tell me some of the bands, how they treated you when you were the support act, like you said, Night Ranger and stuff. Did you get to meet them guys and other bands? Who really treated you well?
Let's see. Well, the guy that really treated us well was a guy by the name of Mike Panera.
Uh-huh.
And Mike Panera is the guy that wrote Ride Captain Ride. I don't know if you remember that
Right.
song.
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Okay. All right. He was in Blues Image,
Uh-huh.
and he was also a guitar player for Iron Butterfly.
Right.
And Mike just kind of took us under his wing.
Right. Yeah.
And we used to like open up for him like at all over the Sunset Strip, Gazzari's, the Troubadour,
Right.
the Whiskey, the Starwood when the Starwood was open.
Right.
And we were just playing out there.
Right. Yeah.
And he saw us one night and he goes, I want you kids to come, we're kids. I want you kids to come and play, with my band. I want you to open up for us,
Right.
And he just kind of took us under his wing. We started going to like, further gigs with him.
Right. Yeah.
We did gigs out in San Francisco with him. He just wanted us to open up for him.
Right. Yeah.
Great
Wow.
guy, Mike Panera.
Wow. Wow. When you started playing like festivals, what was the feeling like, seeing that big, large audience?
We loved it. I mean, we felt right at home. Renegade had some humble beginnings,
Right.
We're out of Whittier, California. And, we started just playing little high school dances and backyard parties. And
Right.
then that, went into like, we'd do the local bars or, and then we started going out to Hollywood, playing out there every week. I would play out in Hollywood, when we first started on a Tuesday or Wednesday night.
Right. Yeah.
And I was still in high school.
Wow.
So we'd finish doing the gig around 2 or 3 in the morning after we'd load up and stuff. And we would drive straight to high school and we'd park in the parking lot and sleep and go
Right.
to school.
Wow.
That was crazy.
Well, I was upstairs. I got 2 floors of my house and stuff like that. And I was digging through some of my collection and stuff like that. And I just happened to get this thing, right?
Animal instinct.
Yeah, man. I can't believe I have this in my collection. I says, I know I have it and stuff like that. This was a real impact on me. I picked it up at St. Mark's Sound in New York City as a promo from Capitol Records and stuff like that.
Okay.
And like I used to play it all the time. And I mean, this was an amazing album. How do you feel about it?
Thank you. Oh, I love that album. I really do. It was a big step in my career with that
Right.
album because it was kind of a fluke the way it happened because Renegade was supposed to sign a $3.2 million deal with Warner Brothers
right
before this album. And some of the guys, I don't want to mention who or what, but, they kind of got cold feet. And it was due to the parents because we were young, you know. So the mom knew a lawyer.
Right.
She was like, I don't know. I don't like this. I think we should get my friend who's a lawyer and get him in there and look at the contracts. And I was like, but he's not a music lawyer.
Right.
You need
Yeah.
a music lawyer for music contracts. Oh, no. It's the same and this and that. So Warner Brothers got tired of it. They gave us an ultimatum. They said, if you guys aren't here on Friday by 2:00 to sign this contract,
right,
we're done.
Wow.
I was the only one that showed up.
Wow.
Yeah. So we never signed that contract. And some of the people at Allied Artists, my manager, by the way, says, hey, we know you sing, you write a lot of the stuff with Renegade anyway.
Right.
Let's do a solo album. And I was like, what? No, I don't want to do anything without Renegade, this and that. He goes, look, right now, Renegade is in a situation where they're pretty much going to be banned right now.
Right, yeah.
You got to do something, and you could do it. And this will be different. It'll be fresh. So that's how this Animal Instinct thing evolved.
Right.
And I started, writing more for the album. A couple of songs that I was going to use with Renegade ended up on this album and on other albums too, other solo albums. And that's how it all started. And this album was awesome. I mean, it really actually kicked me into another level of my career.
Right.
With the video Runaway.
Right. Yeah.
That video being stop motion animation, first of all. And then a drummer singing. I mean, there was drummers, Night Ranger, their drummer, Keegi, he sang. And then Phil Collins was another singing drummer at the time.
Right.
Of course, Don Henley.
Right, yeah.
But, when you see that huge drum set.
Yeah.
And that was the drum set that I was playing with Renegade for years. We would tour and, my drum set started growing little by little. But when we did this Runaway video, we just didn't realize what an impact it was going to have on the video.
Right.
And it was awesome the way it turned out. And, with the dinosaurs and all that, it was so different. Right. Nobody was doing anything with dinosaurs at that point.
Right.
And we kind of came up with that to be different. And man, was it different. I mean, Steven Spielberg hadn't even thought about it. Well,
that's a pretty cool video. I watched it a couple times this morning actually and stuff like that. I mean, it got so much traffic, like, hits on that video. It's like amazing.
Oh yeah. Brian, when we first came out with that, we were really smart about it because we called MTV.
Right.
Okay. Videos were huge at the time. It was 86.
Right.
I think videos started coming on like 84, 85.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a perfect time. And we said, hey, we have a video that you're going to love.
Right.
And they were like, okay, really? But we're going to let you guys have it first exclusively.
Right.
But you have to play it. You have to play it every hour on the hour for 1 month straight. And they were like, what? Are you crazy?
Yeah.
And we said, we're going to send you the video and then talk to us. They loved it. They signed it. They played it every hour on the hour on MTV exclusively. Wow. So VH1 didn't have it.
Right.
Video 22 didn't have it. Nobody could get it. And they were all like, where do we get this video? All of a sudden we start getting calls at Allied. Where do we get this video? And sorry, the only ones that can play right now is MTV. After the month is over, we'll send it to you. You guys can play it. It blew up.
Wow.
Yeah. It was
Definitely
pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah. It's an amazing song. I mean, I love the production on it and stuff like that. Like just listen to the video, you can hear how really great it is.
And you know what's funny, Brian, is I first heard that song Runaway on the American Graffiti album.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, because it was on the American Graffiti album, and I liked that album when I was a kid.
Right.
And I always said to myself, man, if I ever get the chance to remake a song, I want to redo that Del Shannon song, Runaway,
right.
that was on that American Graffiti album. And yeah, but I did it my way,
right?
Rearranged it and all that, and I think it came out really good. I was really happy with it.
Now, tell me a little bit about Roxx Records contacting Latter Rain. How'd that work, and how did it go down?
Well, actually, Bill from Roxx Records had been looking for us to contact us for a bit, and he finally got a hold of one of the guys that used to play guitar with Latter Rain, and he called me or texted me and says, "Hey, Louis, we got this guy from Roxx Records. His name is Bill, and he's interested in re-releasing or releasing some of the Latter Rain stuff." And I was like, okay. I go, so this is serious? And he goes, well, yeah, it sounds serious. I go, all right, well, let's talk to him.
Right.
So we talked to Bill, and yeah, he was totally into it, and that's how it all came about, basically.
Right. Were you surprised they're going to do like a follow-up, Latter Rain 2?
Originally, I had talked about it with Bill, and I said, hey, we've got not just this album, but we've got 2 other albums that were never released. And he was like, what? I go, yeah. And he goes, oh man, he goes, this is anything I've heard before. I go, you may have. I mean, I've put it out on the internet, here and there, and you may have heard it. He goes, well, I have a copy of some stuff. He goes, I go, well, that maybe. And anyway, he did have a few songs, but not the full entire albums, and they needed work. So we started working on Latter Rain 2, and he was all for it. He's like, whatever you got, I'll put out there. And I go, okay. So we started kind of working on that.
Cool. That comes out, what, the 29th?
That comes out, yep, July 29th. And it'll be out there. We appreciate everybody supporting us. And, look forward to everybody hearing it. And it's a good album. I'm really happy the way everything came out. Brad Smith and I, the guitar player for Renegade now, current guitar player, him and I worked in the studio, and we've been working for the last 2 or 3 months now to get Latter Rain 2, finished.
Right.
Latter Rain 3, which is called Order to Chaos, will be released probably next year.
Right, yeah. Wow.
And that one's already done. That one was already done. So, yeah.
Can you tell me anything about this, I guess the album Generations with your 2 kids? Generations,
yes. Generations is an album concept that that I kind of developed. I wanted my kids involved, my son Zach and my son Nick, both drummers. My son's Nick, the older one, he also sings on the album. And just wanted to do something with them because I wanted to kind of show their talents off.
Right.
And when we started that album, Zach was 12 years old, and he was in the studio recording drum tracks at 12 years old.
Wow.
And so really happy with the way that album came out. Have a lot of cool people on it. I mean, I've got Prescott Niles from the Knack playing bass on it. I've got what's his name? Verdine White from Earth, Wind, and Fire playing bass on it. And Dragon Alexic, he does an awesome job. My brother, who was in Latter Rain, he did a couple tracks on that. So it was kind of like I got a lot of musicians together to record on this album from all different like generations, you know, the older guys, the middle age guys, and then the younger kids like my sons. And I got my nephew's involved on there. My nephew Josh plays bass on there. My nephew Josiah plays drums, unbelievable drummer. And then Jonah also plays guitar, lead guitar. So it was the young guys, and we mixed it all up. It was awesome.
Right. Now you said your kids are drummers. Did you teach both of them?
Yes. You know, initially, and then they kind of, you know, branch off to do their own thing.
Right.
You know, I mean, these kids are unbelievable, you know. Zach, you know, I put him in drum lessons when he was real young. Nick didn't want drum lessons. He just kind of did his own thing. He just wanted to jam to songs and, you know, with a band or whatever, you know. Both phenomenal drummers, though.
Right. Are they in bands now?
Zach was in a band called The Melting Suns. Unbelievable. I actually produced that album, their first album. And then that band kind of evolved to another band called The Sweats, which they did sell a lot of records on that as well, or you know, downloads nowadays. Really, you know, records per se, but I mean, yeah, they're coming back. Records are coming back. But you know, but Nick, he was in a couple bands earlier, and you know, probably in his late teens to early 20s. But now he's not now.
Do you plan on doing more original music?
Oh yeah, I'm working on an album called Stages now, you know. That should be ready for release by next year. So yeah, Stages is going to be my 4th solo album. Yep.
Wow. What's your feeling about music compared to back in the day to now? Like, you know, playing shows and stuff like that. It's a little bit difficult. I mean, it's better to get your music out there, you know, but I mean, like live shows, difficult.
Oh yeah, it's definitely changed. I mean, you can, you know, get a big following on the internet. But you've got a following that's pretty widespread. You know, I've got excuse me. I've got people buying, you know, my albums still in Europe, in Germany, in Spain, Argentina, Canada, you know, Russia, all over the place. Okay. But now to get out there and tour, when you don't have a major label supporting you, is really tough, you know. So I think that's what's made it tough. I mean, you have to be a huge artist now, you know, where you've made millions and you can get out there and basically support yourself. You know what I mean? So it's changed. The days where the label would take you in and give you an advance and put you on the road and record your albums and feed you and, you know, have a home for you and get you cars, those days are over.
Yeah, definitely. You know, do you feel it's more profitable or better to do everything in-house now instead of looking for a label?
I think it can be. I think it can be, because the record labels took so much from artists back in the day. You know, I mean, you were signing away your publishing, all of it almost at once, you know, then you would kind of gain it back if your album actually did well. You know, you would get a small percentage of your sales. you would even have to sign away, you know, merchandising and all that, you know, because they were doing all this, you know, big marketing for you. So you were willing to give that
Right.
away. Where nowadays you could do it all yourself through the internet,
Right. Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Definitely. Definitely. Is there any goals coming up for yourself to conquer?
Well, my goal for now is to get this stages, Luis Cardenas stages finished, and, you know, mixed, mastered, and get it out there, you
Right.
know?
Wow. Is there any musician that you'd like to play with?
Well, yeah, the guy that played bass on Touch of Paradise, most of Touch of Paradise, Tommy Rojo, great bass player. He's going to be playing on stages. A good friend of mine named Mondo Guzman. He's been in several bands. He's a keyboard player. He's going to be on stages. Brad Smith will be on stages, and he's actually helping me produce the album. We're producing it together. And Brad is from Latter Rain. He's the main guitarist for Latter Rain. So yeah, I mean, and I'm going to be doing all the drumming mostly on the album and vocals. Yep.
Now, what do you do, you know, on your everyday job? What do you take care of?
Well, I'm a real estate agent. I've been doing real estate for about 7 years now.
Right.
You know, and, you know, my brother's a broker, you know, my family has always been into real estate, and my brother's always, you know, called me and said, Louis, you got to do real estate. You would be really good at real estate. And I'd be like, no, man, I want to produce bands. I want to play. I want to get out and, you know, record records. I don't want to do real estate, you know?
Right.
But, you know, there comes a time in your life where you need a little more,
right?
You know, and real estate's been good, really good. So, you know, they call me the rock star realtor.
Wow. What's your feelings about, you know, vinyl making a resurgence?
What do you mean?
Like coming back, vinyl, you know, like everything's on disc and stuff like that. Now everybody wants to print vinyl, and collectors want it.
I love it. I love it. I buy old vinyl records that I don't have all the time, you know, on the internet. And I think it's great, you know, to introduce this generation, these kids, these young kids, you know, who have never even seen a vinyl record or a CD sometimes, you know?
Right, yeah.
And to show them how it works and how it plays, and you hear it out of loudspeakers, you know, instead of your little, you know, earpods or whatever. It's like they go, whoa, this is awesome, you know?
Right.
And I love that, because that's where we came from.
Right.
You know, that we had no choice. We had to have big speakers in our room to listen to a record or you know, tape or whatever, cassette tape. You know, and I think to reintroduce that to this generation is awesome. I love it.
What's your feeling about downloads? You know, people downloading your album and stuff like that, the sound quality, you know, I particularly don't like it, but you know, that's me.
You know, I'm okay with it. I sell a lot of downloads, honestly.
Right.
So, you know, I'm fine with it. I have the attitude of it's all evolving.
Right, right.
You know, and you know what's funny is that back when Del Shannon was still alive, when we were recording Runaway, we talked about that, because he really liked the way that I, you know, rearranged Runaway.
Right.
And we talked about how music recycles itself and evolves, you know, and that's just the music industry for us. It's always evolving. You know, there's always, you know, something new happening, and downloads and stuff like that is just the technical end of it.
Right.
You know, basically it's just evolving. And at first I think musicians were really scared of downloads and all that,
Right.
Because all of a sudden, you know, anybody can get your music. All they got to do
Right.
is download it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I think the industry has corralled it in a way that not too much money is being lost now.
Right. Yeah.
You know, and if you don't want your music heard or out there, I mean, yeah, I mean, those are the kind of things that are tough to stop.
Right.
Is there's always a way. You always got that smart tech guy that
Right,
can
yeah.
figure out how to get your music out there. You know what I'm saying? Without you
Agreed.
wanting them to. I think at one time, I don't know if it was Zeppelin that didn't allow, you know, downloading their music at one time,
Right,
but I
yeah.
think now, and Paul McCartney, but I
Right.
think now, they've seen that it's beneficial.
Right. Yeah.
So, you know.
What music do you listen to now?
Oh man. I listen to a lot of new music.
Uh-huh.
I like Harry Styles. I like The Weeknd, you know.
Uh-huh.
But you know, on my Pandora, I have like my Harry Styles stations, which has
Right.
a lot of modern rock, which is actually funny, but it's recycling again.
Right. Yeah.
Because now it's not Harry Styles like he was with New Direction, where a lot of their music was more electronic, more synthetic.
Right.
Now he's getting back to, now he has a band. Now he has a guitar player, you know, that
Right,
really
yeah, yeah.
good, and a drummer that's got some cool beats, you know what I'm saying? So that's where it's kind of coming back,
Right. Yeah.
you know? So I'll listen to new, more modern music, but I love Foreigner, I love Zeppelin, I love Steely Dan. I mean,
Right.
you know, Doobie Brothers, Eagles. I mean, those are the bands that I kind of grew up with. Been listening to a lot of Beatles lately too.
Yeah. I like them.
Yeah.
And yet you know, like it's funny. I have my daughter. You know, if I mention the Beatles, it's like, who? Like, I never heard of them.
Gold,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. You know, I
Yeah.
said that's good music. Listen to the harmonies and listen
Oh
to
my
the band.
gosh.
You know, and no.
Songwriting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Their
And these.
chord writing on
Yeah.
songs
Yeah.
is amazing.
It's,
Yeah.
it's a lot of fun listening to the old stuff.
You know, whenever I would you know, play music around the pool or whatever with my kids,
Right.
they get into it.
Yeah.
They hear it over and over, and then they're like, Dad, who is that? I like this song.
Right.
You know, oh, that's the Beatles. That's from this album, whatever.
Right.
Check the whole album out, I would tell them.
Right. Yeah.
And like my daughter Rihanna, she started looking into the Beatles and checking them out. And now on the internet,
Right.
you can find anything out about any band.
Right. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, she got so into the Beatles. It's one of her favorite bands now, you know.
Oh.
And same thing with like my boys with Zeppelin, you know, because they're
Right.
drummers. I wanted them to really listen to John Bonham,
Right. Yeah.
you know, and or Neil Peart, you know.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Listen to Moving Pictures, you know. Listen to, you know, Song Remains the Same, you know.
Right.
And so yeah, I think you got to give them, our kids, a little bit of patience. I think we need to give them a little patience.
Right.
But once they get into something, oh my gosh, they're in.
Right. Wow.
Especially to these good bands, you know, a lot of these good bands.
Right. In your younger days, did you collect any kind of anything, whatever? You know, did you collect toys? Did you collect coins? Did you collect music? Did you collect anything?
I've always loved coins. I've always loved, you know, albums, collecting vinyl albums.
Uh-huh.
Drums. Oh my gosh, old drums. You know, I had a 1920 snare drum, Black Beauty snare drum that I had at one time. Just yeah, I love history, first of
Right.
all, you know, and I don't know. I like getting into like stuff like, you know, that has good value,
Right.
that people loved at one time, and you can look back and say, wow, you know what? This was from this time. This
Right.
Black Beauty snare still has calfskin heads on it.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
and nowadays, where everything's so produced in a factory, you know, back then it was so natural and more, I don't know, it took more to build things, and
Right.
I just appreciate that.
Well, Louis, it was great talking to you. And the new album comes out July 29th on Roxx Records. You have a follow-up coming next year and another solo album. And
Yep.
seems like you're doing good.
I'm loving it. You know, I'll always do music. The song in me still lives, and I love playing, performing live. I love recording. I love writing. It's just in my blood, you know.
Oh, cool. Oh, it's great talking to you, man. Would you like to say anything to the fans out there?
Just want to say I love them. They're always so good to me, always so you know, behind me, and I
Right.
just appreciate you guys so much. I love you all. Thank you.
Cool. How can people get like a pre-order or pick up the records and past records?
Well, you could go to luiscardenas.rocks.
Uh-huh.
Okay. You could go to roxrecords.com.
Right.
Okay. Roxx Records is also going to re-release my album Touch of Paradise,
Right. Yeah.
and also Generations. So we're going to get it out there on CD and vinyl,
Great, man.
those albums.
Great for collectors too.
And you could also, I mean, Google, you could buy the album there, iTunes. You could listen to it on Spotify. Just Google Luis Cardenas Runaway or Luis Cardenas
Right.
Touch of Paradise, and they'll lead you to where you could buy anything. Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Louis. Talk to you later.
Thank you, Brian. I
Bye-bye.
appreciate it.
See you later.
Okay. See you later.